We're going to look at a period of art from the 1930s and 40s called Art Deco. And cars, architecture, artwork, motorcycles, buildings were all very exaggerated with lines. There was no rush in craftsmanship. And these are some Art Deco cars. Really fun to look at. Here's Art Deco art. A lot of lines and circles with big letters. Art Deco motorcycles. Look at the fenders on this car. So what you want to do is, you could read a little bit about Art Deco, and then you want to choose a car or architecture or a building or motorcycle, and you're going to make it into an Art Deco poster. All right, so we'll close this down right now. And this is some former work students have done. They took an Art Deco camera and they cut it out, and they put a background, and they had light coming out of the camera. They added film, they put letters, and they took their time with the letters. You know how to do this. They put an outline around the outside. This student took a train from the 1940s, cut it out, put the sky with stars, with letters. What's it say? Convenience, speed, and comfort. The lap of luxury, travel by steam, right here. And then they actually added this light right here. It's kind of neat. This is the car that we'll start with and we'll make into an Art Deco poster. This is my favorite, a student did. They cut the car out, but the car was on a road, and they included that, but they put the background in, they put the headlights in, and here it's travel with luxury by gasoline. You probably won't see a lot of those posters in the future. There's the student's name. So we'll close this and we'll get started. So we're going to pull this car down, and I want to isolate the car from the background. So we're going to come over here, and I'm going to take the object selection tool, and I'm going to make a rectangle around it and let go, and that wheel tells me it's processing, and I'll let the computer do its work, and it's going to isolate, hopefully, the car from the background. And if you wanted, you could hit the quick mask, and if there are areas that aren't colored in or are colored in, you could use the brush or the eraser. I'm just going to go with it, but we have a problem here. The background has a lock on it. So I'm going to double click this to unlock it. And I don't want to delete the car, so we're going to go select, inverse. And now I'll hit backspace. And there's my car. And I'll hit Control D. Excuse the hands. And you know, you could blow this up, and I missed part of a tire that we could have come in, or part of some stuff that you want to erase. This is a shadow on the car, and it'll be fine for what we want to do. And the next thing we want to do is come up here under Filter and go to something called Filter Gallery, which we've never been to before. And when you open it, you're going to have all these selections. You're going to have Artistic, Brush, Distort. We'll be doing other assignments. You can come over here and shrink it. And we want to make this car kind of look Art Deco-ish. And so we're going to go to under Artistic. We're going to hit Poster Edges right here. And again, we can shrink it here. And these are carrots, and you want to play with the carrots. So if I go to the left, it exaggerates it. Maybe for me too much, I'll go here. And for this one, if I bring it back, it makes it kind of special. And the edge, pretty neat. So, you know, everyone may do it differently. I'm going to do it like this. And I'm going to hit OK. And there is my car that's on a background, and the layer is unlocked. Okay, the next thing we want to do is come down here. We're in the layers palette, and we want to create a new layer. And we want to drag this layer beneath the car, double click, and we can call it sky. We want to come up here to the marquee tool, and this would be half, this would be a quarter, this would be a quarter up, so I want to go between a quarter and a half, maybe right here, and just draw straight across, and come down, and let go. And right now I want to fill it, so we're going to go edit. I'm not on any layer, so I got to be on a layer. Edit, fill, and I want this to be on the word color, and I can double click color, and this comes up. And on the bottom, I've suggested that you put this on 83 red, 83 green, and 115 black, so 115. And it chooses the color we want, and I'm going to hit OK. And right now I will hit OK, and it filled the bottom in like that. So now we're going to look at the sky. I'm going to go select, inverse. So now I've got the sky selected, and I'm just going to fill it with black. And I've got black down here, but we'll go edit, fill, and I can go black here, or foreground color, because the foreground color is black. It doesn't matter. So there's black. Staying on the top of the sky, we want to go to double click here, and we want our numbers 5, 3, 5, 3, 7, 3, and it gets us back to this pretty blue. We're going to hit OK. And what I want to do is, I want to go to the gradient tool and come up here to basics. And I don't want this one or this one, I want blue to transparent. I want that one. And now I'm on the gradient. You can play with the opacity. You can do 100 or 50 or 30. Let's try 50. And I'm going to pull this down. And I'm going to hit Control Z. Let's see what 100 looks like. Yeah, I like that. So we'll keep that at 100. You can see it's sort of a transition, and we're going to be putting stars in there pretty soon. And now we want to go to select inverse again. I'm on the background, or on the bottom, and I want this to be on black. I want to go here, and I want to go in the center where it goes black to transparent. And I was playing with this before. I'm going to try 50%, and I'm going to pull it up. And I kind of like that. I could make it a little bit darker. It's totally up to you. I'll make it just a little bit darker like that. Alright, and now we're in pretty good shape. We're going to do stars, so I can hit Control D. So there's our car. There's a night sky, and here's a road. We're going to put stars in. We're going to do the headlights and just do words. Okay, to do the stars, we're going to go to Window, and we're going to go to Brush Settings. right here. And on brush settings, let's go to the brush. On brush settings, we want to highlight where it says brush tip. Let's see, brush tip right here. And we want not it to be soft, but to be sort of a firm, straight line. And the spacing right here, we wanted there's the stars down there. We wanted 1000%. And now we want to highlight shape dynamics right here. And the size jitter, where's the word jitter? Right up here. We want that to be at 100. And you can see what it's doing. It's kind of separating the little lines, and then highlight scattering. Let's see where highlight scattering is. Highlight scattering, you probably see it before I do. Shape, brush. I've got to find highlight scatter. Let me just try one more thing. Jitter, scattering, and highlight scattering 1000%. Let's see what happens now. We can play with this just to go like that, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to pick white, and I've got the brush. Control Z. I don't like that, so let's bring this back to 0 and try it again. I like that. That's cool. So it looks like when you click it, it's small, and it goes smaller and bigger. I'm not sure with the highlight scattering, but we don't need it. All right? Don't overdo it. There's your sky. Okay, the only thing left is let's put headlights on this car, and we'll do the letters, and we're finished. We'll go to the polygonal lasso tool, and the lights come from here, and they go out, and then they get thinner, and I'll connect it. And we want to make sure this is on 2. And then the headlight over here goes out, kind of crosses, comes in, and goes like that. And what I like to do is go select, feather, or modify, and feather, and I'll go 5. If you got a picture off the internet and it's not high resolution, you could do 2. And now I want to choose a pale yellow, so I'll go to yellow, and I want a pale yellow, so it looks illuminated, maybe something like that. And I want to go back to my gradient, and I want it to be basic right here, and I want the center again where it goes yellow to transparent, and let's just pull it and see what happens. So there's my headlights. I've got the opacity at 34. That's too dark. And I'm finished with this. Let's bring up our layer over here. And what I didn't do is what? I didn't make a new layer. So we're going to make a new layer. We're going to put it on top. And let's try it again. I'm sorry. There we go, too dark. Control Z, we'll go here. Hit Control H. There's my headlights. And then we'll finish here. We'll go to the text tool. and we're going to make this bigger, and we want to find a type that you think is real fancy that would work for Art Deco. And I'll just pick one right here. There's a lot of types. We'll go here, and I'll just type in Chevy 1950. And now I will, in the type tool, I will highlight this, and I'll go to Edit, Transform, Scale, and I'm going to make it bigger. And I'll hit OK. As you know, you could go to the FX, and you could go to Bevel and Emboss. And what I like to do is magnify it so you can see the effect. Go to the FX, Bevel and Emboss. That's kind of cool. I'll let you play with it. And let's go to Stroke, and let's pick, let's see, I want it to show up, what would happen with red? That's kind of cool. You could put a shadow, you know how to do that. There's Chevy. And then down here you could put the Lap of Luxury, or converting to electric, or whatever you want. Alright, so let's just take a look at this, and we're done. So there's my Art Deco 1950 Chevy with stars in the sky on the road. Alright, have fun.